The opening process, really, it's fairly simple. There are really, in my mind, three phases. We actually have to submit something called a new account application form, or NAF. We also need to submit supplementary forms, and we'll go through the details a little bit in a moment. And then the third phase is once the account is open finally and up and running, then it's a matter of funding your account before you are in a position to invest your funds. So let's go through all three phases. This is a little bit small perhaps, but I will talk to each of those 3 points here. On the new account application form, what type of information do you have to provide? Obviously, the type of account that you want to open, you need to provide your full name, date of birth, you need to provide your citizenship, your social insurance number, and so on and so forth. Also, your contact information, so address, email, preferred method to be contacted. Your occupation is also required on the form, your employer's name, the income, approximately your net worth, which is your assets minus your liabilities, and that would include both financial and non-financial assets. Also, all the regulatory information, whether or not you are a politically exposed person, which is PEP, account purpose. So what do you intend to use this account for? It could be for retirement. It could be for, setting funds aside to purchase a property down the road, for all kinds of reasons, but you have to specify the reason. The source of your funds, of course, typically it would come from personal savings, but not always. It could be inheritance or anything, but you have to specify the source of funds. Also, you need to designate a beneficiary. God forbid something were to happen to you. It would be wise to actually have a beneficiary designated. Photo ID, of course, banking information with the information provided on a void check, for example, and of course the signature. Supplementary forms might at times be required depending on the type of account that you are opening. So for instance, if you were to open a TFSA account, there might be one additional form that you would need to provide. Same thing goes for our ESP, the Registered Education Savings Plan, of course. But there is also a third form that we need to provide, is called the W-8BEN form. This is a US form. This is really for US people, although everyone has to fill in that form, but it's really meant to identify US people who would have to also pay taxes in the US. The US is one of those countries where it doesn't just tax, it does not just tax your income generated in the US, but rather your worldwide income. And therefore, this is mandatory actually from the US government. Then the third phase, once the account is up and running, funding your account. So there are different ways that you can use to fund your account. Either you had a similar account elsewhere and you want to actually just transfer your existing assets into your newly opened account. So for instance, if you had an RSP somewhere else and you want to consolidate everything, all your registered assets into this newly opened RSP, then you would actually operate a direct transfer from your existing RSP to this newly opened RSP. That's one way. Another way would be to make a one-time deposit, electronic fund transfer, EFT transfer, to this newly opened account. Another way would be to set up a pre-authorized contribution. So let's say that every month you might want to, or might decide to deposit $200 or so every month. And of course, the signature is also required on all those forms.